Hi, I'm FA from bakingwithfa.com. You see, I'm always eating these days. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, guess what this cake is? This is a chocolate Italian cream cake. Everybody's in bed. And me and Duda have just sneaked a piece. So anyway, this is the cake we made earlier. And this cake is just absolutely... Thank you for voting this cake. I didn't know it was this good. So, I made this cake this afternoon. I'm just enjoying this with the mug of tea. So, let's go behind the scenes and see how I made this cake. See you soon in the kitchen. Bye. Do that. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we had a voting poll on Friday between 3 choices, and the chocolate Italian cream cake won. So today we're going to be making that absolutely fantastic cake. And before we get started, we're just going to go right into it. Prepare our coconut flakes, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute. So basically, I'm using toasted shredded coconuts. You just basically need to get your coconut. What you do is run it through your grater. Here we are, 1 cup of grated coconut. So I'm just going to put it here. Basically, what you can do is you can either bake it in the oven or use your fry pan, non-stick fry pan. So I'm just going to put it here. Keeping an eye on it, I'm just going to make sure I keep tossing it about until it gets a little bit golden brown and toasted. So see you soon. Okay, now our recipe today, before we go into all the ingredients we're going to use, what the recipe calls for is pecans. Now pecans can be quite dicey or quite hard to get in these parts, so what I've substituted that for is peanuts. So I'm just going to put the peanuts on my chopping board. What we want is to make sure we get them finely chopped. Now the peanuts I use, because these days it's hard to get fresh granules, so I got these from a lady. Now if you notice, with these type of fried peanuts, the shell keeps it fresh longer, so you get that really fresh crunch to the peanuts. So I'm just gonna chop this up. So the best way to do it is just to keep one end of the knife in one position, holding it down, and then just take the knife all across your peanuts. Okay, so that's done. Look at how beautiful our coconut looks. The smell, it smells like coconut candy. So it's nice and toasty now. Okay, I'll just set this aside. Now we're going to use half of the peanuts for our garnish, and then the other half will actually go into the cake. So I'm just going to put this here. Okay. And this is approximately 1 cup, which I've divided into 2. And then this is for our cake. Now the important thing to always note is that sometimes when you go through a recipe or a classic recipe, you find that some ingredients are not available here. What you can do is take it upon yourself, do a little bit of research, and then find substitutes that can make you still enjoy that fantastic recipe without losing out on everything. So we're going to get started right away. Now I've got 300 grams of margarine. I'm using margarine today, which I'm going to put in our bowl right here. Now I'm going to put this on medium to high speed for about 2 minutes just to loosen up the margarine, and we'll put our sugar in as soon as it gets nice and loosened. Okay, so that's looking good. Now I've got equal measurements with the sugar, 300 grams, which I'm just going to put straight in here, and we'll give that a whiz until we get it nice, pale and fluffy. Now when I say pale, the margarine needs to become lighter in color, so that way you know, because what we also don't want to do is to overbeat it. So I'm going to mix that on for about 5 minutes. It's nice, pale and fluffy. And now this recipe also calls for buttermilk, so this is another ingredient that can be quite frustrating to get here. So we're going to make a buttermilk substitute, which is as good as your regular buttermilk, but again, this is very easy to make, and all you need to do is just wait 5 minutes. So I've got 240 ml of full cream milk, and now I've got white vinegar, which I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of that to our milk. Give it a little stir. and then leave it to stand for 5 minutes. So just leave that to stand for 5 minutes and it's good to go. So back to our margarine and sugar. Now it's time for the eggs. Now this method, this cream cake actually calls for slightly different variation to our normal method. So we're gonna have to separate the eggs into the egg whites and the egg yolks. So I'm gonna put my egg whites in this bowl. So I'm sure you remember how we separated our eggs the last time. So it's just basically move the yolk from one shell to the other and your egg whites would be separated. So I'm just going to put 2 here. We're working with 5 eggs today. I'm going to put 2 and then we'll do the same procedure for all of them. Okay, so last one going in. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, this goes in. Okay, so we're just going to pop our egg whites aside for a minute and continue with this batter. Okay, so I've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract going in. Okay. Wow, look at that. Now you can see the vinegar in the milk has made it slightly curdled. If you look on closely, it's gotten quite thick and curdled, and that is exactly what we're looking for. So now we're going to mix in our dry ingredients. I've got 300 grams of flour here, and to that I'm going to add 35 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder, which I'll just add here and then give that a quick mix. Cocoa powder in. I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now if you notice, a lot of recipes that use cocoa powder would always want that baking soda because there's a slight chemical reaction which happens when you put it on there. I've got half a teaspoon of salt in my little teacup. Now I'm going to give it a quick mix. Okay, so I'm going to alternate between my dry and my buttermilk. So I'm just going to put 1/3 of our flour mixture. Okay, I'm going to give that a mix quickly. Okay, I'm just going to scrape down the sides very quickly. And we're going to alternate that with some buttermilk. The whole cup is going in. Okay, so let it mix. Okay, so the last bit of flour is going in, and I've got 1 more batch of buttermilk. Buttermilk going in. Right, so I'm just going to scrape down the sides of our bowl. Okay, this batter is looking beautiful. Now comes the fun part, where our toasted coconut flakes is going to go in. Let's make sure everything comes out. And now I've got my peanuts divided into 2. This, as I said, is for our garnish, so I'll just keep this aside. And this is going into our batter. Make sure all of that goes in. Okay. I'm just going to give this a mix on low speed. Okay, so we're done with our batter, so we don't overmix. I'm going to take it off, and then we'll start with our egg whites. Now with the egg whites, which is here, what we want is stiff white peaks, which more or less is like a meringue. So I'm just going to beat this. It takes time, so don't be in a hurry at all. Rather, you beat it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, so I'm just going to start with the beating on high speed. Wow, look at that. That looks absolutely sensational. Now I did 5 minutes on high speed. So if you want quick, just put it on high speed. This is 5 minutes of beating. Now the test for a meringue normally is to make sure it doesn't fall off the bowl, which I'm going to try, so please, I hope this is going to work. Look. Yay! It worked! Okay, so back to the batter. We're going to fold this in gently. Again, remember, egg whites is quite fluffed up, which basically means it's got a lot of lovely air locked in. So we're just going to fold this in and make sure we don't, oh look at that, is absolutely gorgeous. We just fold gently to make sure we don't lose that fluffiness. Right, these are ready to go right into the oven. So I've got my pans ready. Always remember to make sure your pan is floured, buttered down, and if you have parchment paper you can put that in, but that is optional. If you do have your butter and flour in your pan, that's fine. So I'm just going to evenly, well, I hope it will be evenly, divide this into my two pans. I'm going to use the eyeball technique, which isn't very accurate, so stay with me. So just ensure the top is nice and even. This is nicely combined. So I'm going to bake this at 190 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Once it goes past the 20-minute mark, you need to hang around the oven. Okay, so do it. Look at this gorgeous looking cakes. Now you can see it's ready, especially when it starts pulling away from the sides. You know your cake is ready to get out of the oven. So I'm just going to leave this to rest in the pan for about 5 minutes, and then to completely cool down we'll need to pop it in the fridge for about 20 minutes so we can put the icing on, and we'll be back. Right, so the cakes are nice and cool, so we're going to start with the icing. Again, just put a little dollop of icing here just to make sure your cake doesn't shift when you're icing it. And we're just going to pick this up and put it on there. Okay, there we go. So hefty dollop again. Okay, so some more underneath. Okay, and I'll just add that as well. Start with a heavy dollop and work your way outwards towards the side. Okay, so now a little tip: if you want the sides to be quite smooth, all you need to do, if you don't have a cake scraper, you can just use a really nice sharp cardboard and then just swing it around. Okay, so it's peanuts time. So what I've done is you literally have to just throw this on the cake like this. Just gonna do one here. Just throw it on. You have some falling on the cake stand, which you can use for the rest of the cake. Just gonna drizzle it on. You can use a lot more peanuts if you want, but I am not a huge fan. Right, so I'm just shaving some chocolate on the top like this. Right, it's time to taste this gorgeous cake. Oh, you can just see how soft this is. Look at that. That is so spongy. Okay. This is an exquisite cake. The peanut gives it a very subtle, nutty taste. And then you can taste the coconut as well. It makes the cake so moist, so soft. You truly have to try this. Gorgeous Italian masterpiece. Send your pictures though. You see, that's what I'm putting on with. Anyway, so I come away next time. I'm not going to settle down and finish this cake. Send the pictures in. Make an effort to make this cake. The taste, honestly, is truly amazing. Until I come your way again, it's have a blessed week for me, and make sure you get baking.